Hello everyone and welcome to this live webinar on what's new in the NICEIC Cert software, and it's going to be all about the photos update that we've just released. So hopefully you're all listening. Basically, if anyone is having problems with audio, obviously you won't be able to hear me, but here's a slide just so you can have a look at this. So just check the audio settings in your control panel. Refer to your confirmation email for additional audio information. Let us know in the chat if you are still having any problems. This webinar is going to be recorded, so you'll be able to catch up if you have any audio issues. Okay, so at the end of this webinar, we are going to have some Q&A session. We're going to have just 5 questions based around the photos update. So if you've got any questions, please put it in the Q&A. If there are lots more questions, we will put them and publish them on our website at the end, so you'll be able to see them. So we'll tell you when that's done. But today we're going to go through the agenda and what we're going to go through. So the first bit is really just about the photo settings, and that includes about where your download folder for these photos will be, and some of the settings that we've got on the photos. And then we're going to be taking photos on the Clik Cert Electrical apps, and we're going to do both the iOS and the Android version because there's just slight differences. So for those people that are working on Android or iOS, don't worry, we're going to cover that. If you're thinking about the field mode on laptop, that's fine. It's exactly the same as it is on the NICEIC Cert software, on the main office software. So there's no change, and I'm going to show you that as well. And then we're going to look at how you organize your photos potentially on the main software as well. And then we're going to look at how you can print your photos on the NICEIC certification software. And then we're going to look at also creating copies of certs as well. We've added this in so you can do it with photos or without photos. I'm just going to show you how you can do that. And then we'll finish on a Q&A. So just bear with me whilst I just bring up the NICEIC Cert software, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, you should now be seeing the NICEIC certification software in front. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the settings and look at the photo settings. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on Edit at the top here. So you can see next to File, we've got Edit and we've got Settings. So when we're in the settings, we're going to see the option Photos, which is just at the bottom here. And the first thing we're going to look at is the download location. So this is basically where all your photos will go when your field engineers send certificates back with photos. Now, it's really important that this place is probably a shared place if you have multiple office users, so everyone can see those photos. And it's fairly easy to change the download location. So you'll notice there's a little folder here with a magnifying glass. You simply click on that and you'll get a warning. It will pop up with a little warning saying changing the photo download location could result in photos missing from certificates. If you change the location, make sure you move all your previously downloaded photos to that new location. Okay, so that's very important to remember. Make sure you do that. So we're going to press OK, and then I can select another location of where I want my photos to go to, and that could be a shared location. If you're not sure about shared location, then maybe contact your IT team. They should be able to say this is where you should probably store them, and they'll be able to share it on there. If you're just a single user, you can just probably store them on your local hard drive or an external hard drive or whatever you need to do. Now you'll notice the next thing is default photo template. So this is kind of how we want our print to show with these photos. So at the moment, what I'm saying is I want 2 per page, but you can change that and you can have 1 per page, 3 per page, or 4 per page if you need them. And last but not least, we've got the download location folder size, and that's just telling you how big it is to give you a guide that maybe you might need to get some more hard drive space or another external hard drive, etc., and start thinking about moving your photos location. Right, okay, so we're going to just briefly talk about backups as well. So we don't do backups for your photos. That's something you're going to need to control. And there's a few ways that you can do this. You might have some third-party software that does the backup for you, or you can speak to your IT team to make sure that the folder that you've shared that's downloading, having all the photos on them, is going to be backed up. But there are some sort of basic things that you could do. So you could literally copy your photos folder into a USB stick, maybe once a week or once a day, or however you want to do it. So I'm going to just briefly show you how you might do that. So if I bring up a folder in here, I can see that I've got my location, which is in here where my photos are. So all my photos in here. And then all I need to do is I can right click on that photo and I can copy it. And then I could go into my USB device. I could right click and I could paste that onto my USB drive. So I've got a copy of those photos somewhere stored. So that's kind of like a manual backup, if you like, some sort of process you could put in. But otherwise, we're not responsible for your backups of photos. That's something you will need to sort of sort out. Okay, so that really is generally the photo settings. That's all we've got there. So next, what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring up the iOS version. So this is for anyone who's got an iPad or an iPhone, and this is going to show you exactly how you might take photos on that device. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that up. So just bear with me whilst I bring that up. Okay, you should see something that looks like an iPad. There we go. That's perfect. So this is what it's going to look like on the iOS device, so your iPad or your iPhone. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on one of my certificates that I've already got. So I'm just going to click on one of the certificates that I already have. Obviously, you can do this in new ones as well. You're going to see the little photo icon on your certificate in the top right-hand side, which means you're going to enter what we call the photo manager for this device. So I'm going to click on there and I can see I'm in my photo manager. So I've got two options here. I've got take a photo or I can open my gallery. So what I'm going to do is take a photo, just so you can see how easy that is. I'm going to take a photo of some messy plugs. There we go. And then I'm just going to click on use photo. So that photo has now been put onto my device, which is fantastic, but there's a few things I can do here. So although it says new photo on here, that's not a great description. So I might click on that and I can start putting in a different description. So I can clear this and I can put in plugs or extension. Let's put extension. Lead. And you can just confirm it, but you can write as much as you like in there. So you can put as much as in there, but it's labeled that photo. So that's one thing you can do. You will also notice that there is a delete button here. So on the left-hand side, you've got the little delete button and you can just click on delete and that will delete it. And then we've also got the little phone option as well. So you can click on the phone option, and if you click on that, it just expands it so you can have a little preview of that photo. Perfect. Now we're going to just do another thing. We're going to go into my gallery. So photos I may have taken ages ago that I want to put on this certificate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this little icon here, which is in the top right-hand side, which has got the little sort of mountain icon, if you like, which is the gallery icon. And we're just going to click on that, and that's going to open up my gallery. So you can see that I've got a few different types of pictures in here, and I'm going to select some more. So I'm going to put a board in. So I select that, I can select this and select that. So I'm going to select those three, and I'm just going to click on add. And those three have now added onto my device. So I've now got some more photos on that device. Now it could be you want to delete them. Again, you could just delete them, and you can also select a few. Oh no, you can't. You got to do it one by one. So you can't confirm. So at the moment in the iOS, you got to do it by one, which is fine. And you can just click on the little delete icon there. Okay, so once you're happy with that, we can just click on done, and then that's it. That really is it. So we can just close that down. So we can close and save it, and then that's it. And then I can upload that to my office with those photos attached to it. So that's exactly how you add photos on the iOS device. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to bring up the Android device so you can see how that looks. So just bear with me 1 second. Oh, we got both. Okay, we don't need that. So we're just going to do this one. Oh, okay, just do that. We'll do it in this format, so that's fine. So it looks like a tablet as well. So as you can see here, we've got another certificate in the in the Android device. So we're going to click on the Android device, and I'm going to click on that certificate. And again, you're just going to see the photo icon on the top sort of right-hand side. And I'm going to click on that photo icon, and I'm going to go into that photo manager. So in this case, it's slightly different. You do have a camera, you do have a gallery, but you've the gallery option, but you also have the minus option for deleting, and you can delete multiple from here. So again, I'm going to go and click on the photo icon. So click on the photo icon on here, and I can take a photo of some extension lead and some plugs. Click on OK, and that populates into there. So what I can do now is I can then click on the gallery icon again, and then I can also add some more from my camera. So I'm just going to add these two and click done, and they're all added in here. So once again, what I might do is I might just literally click on let's see if I can expand that. That's better. So what I'm going to do is I am going to click on the description here. So tap to edit description, and you can again type in what you need to. So I'm just going to put extension. And then press OK. So there you go. You can go through that. And I can go through these, and I can start going through them. I can go into that one, and I might put in DB1 or something like that. There's a distribution board. And then I've got my sockets in here as well. Then if I wanted to delete maybe one or two of these, then what I can do is I can hold them down, so you can see that's selected. I can touch another one, so that's two that I've selected. And then I can click on the minus option in here, which will just delete those ones. And I can say yes to that. And then I've only got my DB1 left. So again, you just click on done, and then you close down and save and close that particular certificate, and then I can upload that, and it will upload those photos. Okay, the next thing we're going to go through, and this doesn't change to both devices, is just some of the settings on the device as well for photos. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the cert list in the top left-hand side, and we're going to go down to settings. So in settings, you'll notice there is photos, and this is the same in the iOS as well. So we click on photos, and you'll notice you've got photo image format, which is JPEG. So you can select that, and you can change it to PNG if you needed to. And you can also change the quality of your JPEG image. So for example, you might want high, medium, low. Just bear in mind, it's obviously going to take more space when you take that photo. So your device space might run out quickly if it's on high. And then you've got to upload them as well, and then obviously download them to your office place, so you might increase your space potentially. But you'll also notice default PDF layout. So if you do have options to print from your device, you can go on a default PDF layout, and I've got 2 per page as well, so I could, if I wanted to, print on my device if you have that enabled. And then you've also got auto download remote certificate photos. This just means that basically anything that the office, they might attach photos to you as a field engineer, and you will have some photos already on that certificate, then it will download those photos. If you disable that, it means that you have to choose the ones that you are downloading. Okay, but those are the settings, the photo settings, and that's exactly the same in iOS as well, so on your iPad or your iPhone. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the NICEIC certification software, and we're going to have a look at some of the certificates that have photos on and how to do them. So just bear with me whilst I bring that up. Okay, we should now all see the NICEIC certification software. Right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into one that I've done earlier. So here is an EIC 18.2 edition certificate. And I'm going to click on there, and I'm going to see that I've got photos up the top here. So I've got photos in there, and I'm going to click on photos here, and that's going to go and enable me to go into my photo manager. So as you can see, I've got 4 photos. I've got a socket installed, and I've put sort of 3 distribution boards on. I know they're the same photo, but you just pretend they're all different boards. So what we can do here is we can do quite a few things. It could be that sometimes that your photos come back from the engineer and they're not in the right sort of format. They might be rotated slightly differently. So for example, you can see here, I've got these little icons where I can rotate clockwise or anti-clockwise. So I'm just going to go until I've got it right. So that's perfect. That's how I want it. Now, you'll also notice there's a little icon as well called print photo. So you can determine which ones you do want to print out. So you might have had a field engineer that took lots and lots of photos. We don't necessarily need them all for the certificate. So you can decide which ones you want and which ones you don't want just by clicking and unticking. Now, you'll also see add photo as well. So you do have the ability to add photo. So for those using the laptop field mode version, this is where you would add your photos and find your photos and put them on. So for example, I'll just put another one quickly in. So you got it in there. So as long as you've got photos on your device, you'll be able to add them in and put them in on your laptop device. Okay, so that's exactly the same as the field mode. Right, what we're going to do now is just, we can think about maybe deleting that one because I don't need it. So I'm going to select it. So what you do, if you select it, it will come up like a pop-out that will come from right to left. And then you can click on the delete icon in here just to delete the photo. So I'm going to delete that. And it will say, oh, removed it, perfect. So I've removed it from that certificate. Now, what we can also do is we can select one of these other photos and we could also change the description. So at the moment, I've got DB01 and I might put something more like it's on the stairs or something like that. So you can put more description on the Office software as well about your photos if you need to. And also another option is you can do the open photo, which will open a photo and you'll see a bigger image of it and you can have a look on that distribution board, for example. And I'm just going to close that down and close it down. Perfect. So all you need to do to get out of that is just click on another one and then you'll be there. So the other thing that you've also got is your print template. So my default, which was set to 2 per page, is default. So I don't really need to mess around with it, but you could if you wanted to. You could say, well, actually, for this particular certificate, I want to print 4 per page. So they all come up in 1 page. However, I've done 2 per page as my default. It's entirely up to you. Now, you can also just click on print and you can just print your photos. So you can just print the photos and that's the only thing that it prints. So socket install and DB1 stairs, and then you can go to the next page, DB02, DB3, and you can just print your photos if you want to. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to print out the whole certificate just to show you how that looks on there. So if I close that down, I might complete the certificate. I'm going to say yes, and I'm now going to print it fully. So I'm going to click on print, and I'm going to print original, and that's going to print the whole certificate. Perfect. And we're just going to go down to the pages where we've got it on this electrical installation. So we'll keep going down. And you'll notice on the last 2 pages, we have our photos. So 12 and 13, so they're there. So another thing that you can also do, just so you know, you can actually move your photos around. So what I'm going to do is quickly upload another photo that came from one of my devices. So you can see that as well. I'm going to receive these and I'm going to receive that one. And back to my local, and we'll just go and see the photos in here. And I'll just add another one. So I'm just going to add another photo. But it could be you want to move them around and change them. So all you do is you just drag and drop. So you can change the order that your photos are in as well. Okay, so that's something to think about. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close that down, and we're going to talk about the last thing to go through, which is on photos, which is just a column that you might find very, very useful. So you will see here, there's a column called photos. So that's really telling me how many photos that I have on that certificate. You might be thinking, well, I can't see that on the Office software. I don't know where it is. Well, I'm going to show you how to find it. So basically, if you right click on a column on here, you'll see something called Show Column Chooser. So I'm going to pretend that the photo one's back here. So if it isn't there, you just need to find it in here. So you'll see photos. And all you do is you drag and you drop it in so you can see in there, which could be useful. Just so you know, it might be useful for other things as well. So for example, you might have work complete date. You always want that in there, and you can go like that and drag and drop it in. So just so you know, that's something that you might find useful anyway, because there might be other columns that you might use. Okay, so this is now telling me I have 4 photos on this one, and I have 2 photos on that one, and I have 0 photos on this one. Okay, right, now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about copying certificates. So you might be using templates recently, and templates is something you can still use, absolutely brilliant. But you can also just copy a certificate as well, and you can also copy to a different type of certificate. So I'm going to show you how that works. So we're going to click on a certificate in here. Should be already open. There we go. And we're going to go to Tools, and you will notice there's a Copy Certificate option, and you have it with photos or without photos, and you simply just click on it, and it's going to copy with photos or without photos. And that's what it's going to do. Now, the next bit that we've also got is advanced settings. So if you click on advanced settings, what that means is you can say, well, actually, I want to copy it to a completely different certificate. So I've got this electrical installation condition report, but I might want it in an electrical installation certificate. So that's what you could do. So what we could do is we could simply say, oh, include photos if you want to, and we just select EIC 18.2C. Not that one, that's a, yeah, electrical installation certificate. Yeah, that's perfect. We don't want it to be a condition report. And then we click on copy. And then when we click on copy, it'll say your certificate has been copied. Would you like to open it now? We say yes. And that will populate into here. Now you've copied that certificate from a different type of certificate. So something you can think about doing potentially might save you a lot of time. So you've now got a copy of the condition report into an electrical installation certificate. So there's a quick way of doing that. Okay, so you can also do Tools, Copy Certificate, and you can also remember copy just current and do yes again, and it will create another copy of that certificate. So again, I've got 2 electrical installation certificates up as well. Okay, let's close that. Okay, so that really is it for the photos webinar. So I'm just going to pause the screen and bring up the show and see if we've got any questions. And to be honest, it doesn't look like we have. So no questions at the moment in our Q&A. So that's fine. I was expecting a few, but no problem. If there are any sort of, one thing that might pop up, you might be thinking, so is this on all certificates? Well, just to say that it's on every certificate the NICEIC sell. So any of them that they sell, you'll be able to do that. Okay, so a few questions are coming in now, so we're going to go through them. So can you set to have more than 4 photos? Yeah, you can have as many 4 photos. You can have as many photos as you like. It's just how many you want per page. So the max, so we'll go through it again just so you're clear. So if I go into this one, I've only got 4 photos, but I could have as many as I like. What you could do, I won't go into a complete one. Let's go into this one that's got 2. So if I go into photos, I can add as many as I like. All I'm saying is that I want it to be displayed 4 per page or 3 per page. But yeah, you can have as many as you want. Is this available to have a copy of demo as I missed the start? Yes, this webinar is going to be on recorded, and we'll be sending that to everyone on our website. So you'll be able to get it and see it if you need to, and we'll also put these questions in as well. Oh, okay, hang on. Just noticed the screen was paused for a second there. Sorry about that. So just to clarify, again, you can add as many photos as you like. Okay. Can I add circuit details and test results only from an existing cert? Yeah, that's something that's not related to this update, but that's something you might, yeah, you can do. We'll answer that and we'll get to you individually about that one. Right, can you export to a PDF with photos included? Yep, that's absolutely, you should be able to do that. It shouldn't be a problem. So what I can do is if I click on print, and depending on what I decide to print to, I could print to a PDF. So you should notice there's a PDF icon, which is on here, and that will print to a PDF and you'll be able to print your photos. Okay. Okay. I think that is it for now. So I've got one question. If photos are deleted from the default folder, do they go off the certificate? Yeah, they won't be linked anymore. So that would be a problem. I wouldn't do that. Okay, so in terms of making sure you're aware about the settings, so someone's just answered a question about something about shared photos. So what we're saying is that those photos need to be, if you need to share your photos across everyone who's an Office user, then in the photo settings, you just need to make sure that your location that you're saving to is a shared location or a networked location. Okay, I think that is it for questions. Let me just bring up the slideshow again. So let us know what you think about this webinar. There'll be a sort of feedback survey after this when it closes down. So if you can answer them, that would be great. Just so you know, there is additional training that we offer. So there's an NICEIC certification software training course. It's a 2-part live training. So it's a big webinar. It's a comprehensive look into the Office software and field solutions. So if you want a bigger sort of in-depth look at the software, you can do. And you'll also get an exclusive look at new features. So the previous ones we've done, for example, had a brief look at the photos feature as well. And we'll do a full Q&A with our software experts, which will be me. So basically any question that you go through, we will answer them and we'll go through it. And you'll also get a Clik qualified certificate just to show that you've been on the course and you've been on it and you've completed it. And if you're interested in this, just contact your account manager and they get you signed up. And you could also scan this lovely little barcode feature here to find out more about the training course we offer. Also, if you need to get in touch, you can get in touch by hello@kliksoftware.com and you can phone us on 0117 902 2012. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching and hopefully we'll have some more NICEIC update webinars in the future. Thanks very much. Take care and speak to you all soon.